Yo, 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 what is up, YouTube? As you guys can see, I passed all of my bans. I'll probably put that in the thumbnail of the title or something, but I passed all of my bans so I could get Ullr through, and we're against Cannabine69. That is a very low-level account. I'm assuming that's a Smurf. I hope that's a Smurf. I don't know, man. You never know. Duel, you really can just go against bronze players. It really just be like that. But anyways, we're going to play it out because Ullr never gets through. I had to pass all my bans, and he barely got through. The other two hunters actually got banned, I'm pretty sure. I think he banned Ho Yi and Anher, which is like, usually when people ban those two gods, they ban Ullr with it, or they're trying to play Ullr, so very interesting. I would imagine this is going to be a surrender, and let's just be real. This is probably going to be a two-parter. But either way, I will be adding this. I mean, you guys know I'll be adding it, right? Because you're listening to me right now. But I will be adding this to the start of it because it's probably going to be a 5-minute F6, and you don't get Ullr through very much, right? So I'm just going to take everything I can get, man. Call it a day there. Also, one thing I should mention is if you guys hear any background noise, I do apologize. I have my my mom's birthday was this week, and we're celebrating it tomorrow. So long story short, my sister is in town, and my mom and my sister are here. Is he coming to this? No. And my mom and my sister are here, and they're in the living room right now watching a K-drama or a Chinese drama or something. I don't know, something that you have to read the television. That's all I know. So yeah, if you guys do hear anything in the background, that is it. Although I don't think you will. I think everything should be perfectly fine. If you do, hopefully it's just a little bit. But I think we'll be okay. Oh. Ooh. Slipping up, buddy. I can't tell if this guy's a Smurf or not. So far, he hasn't done anything like weird. He's pretty much playing it normal. Which actually, now that I think about it, if you're like a low-level account and you're playing it normal, like that's pretty much how most Anubis players play it. He must be a Smurf, dude. It's obvious. Everyone knows it. It's so obvious. This is my first game of the day, so hopefully we don't poop the bed, you know, but I don't know. I usually do decent on Ullr. I don't play him very much. I play this character in Duel, at least. You know, sometimes I whip him out and slash here and there, but I play this character in Duel about 3 to 4 times a year. I really am not much of an Ullr player. I do have good worshippers on him, as you saw in the... Oh. What the... Alright, so that guy's just inting for no apparent reason. But I'm not like a new Ullr player. I have a lot of worshippers on him. I used to play him all the time in like Siege and stuff like that. A little bit of Joust here and there. I'm no new Duel or Ull player. I'm not even new with him in Duel necessarily. Used to play him a lot in Duel, but then I started going against the best of the best Ullrs out there, man. And no, I'm not talking about Rexy, by the way. That's what everyone always thinks. And that's not a diss to Rexy. That's not even to say I'm a better Ullr than Rexy. That's just to say I've never mirrored him before, like ever. So he's not the reason I got ran off of Ullr. The reason I got ran off of Ullr was because of Anime Lover and Pringles, aka Shinigami, aka David. And don't get me wrong, I actually, maybe not Shinigami so much, because he just is like the best Ullr in Duel. You know, Rexy says it, Anime Lover says it, I say it, everyone knows it, we all know it, right? He beats Paul in the Ullr mirrors, etc. But Anime Lover, I've actually beat him a couple times. I don't think I have a positive win rate, I most certainly do not, but I have beat him a couple times. So it's like, it's not that I'm hopeless, okay? You know, I could do it, but the way I see it is my win-loss against those players when I play like characters I'm more comfortable with is just much higher than if I play mirrors. And I hate to lose. Who doesn't hate to lose, right? Like losing sucks. So I was like, why would I take my 50-50 matchups when I could just win different matchups, you know? I like to think of myself as like, I have a pretty big god pool. And I'm a strategic player who can outsmart a lot of other Duel players. My mechanics are not necessarily my top quality. Not even in like the top 2, honestly. So, yeah, that's my long story all to say that I suck at Ullr. I'm just kidding. I don't suck at him, but I'm certainly not able to compete with the best. Oh. He does have a Bancroft, so maybe we should respect that just a little bit here. Although his ult is down now. Gotta keep in mind his one does do 5 billion damage. So he can still kill me even without his ult, but I'm not really 100% certain what he's doing right this moment. I think he's just trying to look for me. He's fishing, if you will. But he's not gonna get it. Not gonna get it. Also, by the way, Mr. Fab Duels, aka Anime Lover, if you're watching this video, sorry for slandering you, man. To be fair, I did say you win most of the games, okay? All I'm trying to say is that I've won Ullr mirrors before, okay? I can compete. You know, actually, I would be interested in playing against you here soon. To see how much or how little I've improved as a player, not as an Ullr player, because I haven't really done much playing of Ullr. Like, I haven't played Ullr since the last time we played, really. But I have improved a lot as a player, and I wonder if that transitions into it a little bit. Let me know in the comments down below, by the way, guys, if you would like to see that. If you guys, maybe you guys don't even know who Anime Lover is, aka Fab Duels. But he's just a, you know, he's just an OG dueler. Relatively OG, not like season 1 or anything, but relatively OG dueler that is one of the top Ullr players. I'd say the top Ullrs in Duel are in no particular order necessarily, besides David, you know, Shinigami being at top, but Shinigami, Paul, Rexy, Fab Duels, those are the top names that come to my mind when I think of Ullr players, and I'd be down to potentially take on the Fab Duels for you guys. I'm not challenging Shinigami, okay? It's not happening. I'm not embarrassing myself. I would be down to play David Shinigami. Sorry, I'm not trying to flex that I know his name, okay? Everybody knows his name. It's just, I'm so like, ever since he changed his name, because for those who don't know, his name used to be Pringles, and he changed his name because of like the actual official company of Pringles reached out to him and was like, yo, change your name now. And so he did, and everyone still calls him Pringles, but he doesn't like it. And at the beginning, he told everyone to stop calling him Pringles because he doesn't like it. And I was like, well, I know you as Pringles and David. I'm not gonna like be able to adjust to the word Shinigami. Like, no way, right? So I'm just gonna go with the one that I already knew a little bit. Like, I already called him David slightly. Like 10% of the time I called him David. So now that's just all I call him now. Yeah, I feel like I'm doing pretty good though. Like, I mean, don't get me wrong, this Anubis isn't exactly juking that hard, but like, I'm landing my stuff here. Also, by the way, there has been some changes to Ullr. You used to like not really even put points into the ult, but they changed him up a little bit, and you get 20 power for putting 1 point into the ult, by the way. 20 power, it's just like Hell. Where Hell, you don't really want to level her ult per se either, but you want to get at least a 1 point into it because I think you get 20 MP5 or something like that. It's just a really, really good like value out of putting 1 point into the ability is what I'm trying to say. So I think I'm going to be maxing my 2 this game, but I wanted to put 1 point into the ult for this 20 power. Also, they shifted there's power on the ult as I just talked about, and they shifted it and made it to where there's attack speed on the 2. So, which is a little bit interesting. Kind of means that you don't really have to pop your 2 before you use your abilities like you wanted to before. You didn't have to, but you wanted to pop your 2 early so that way you have more scaling in your abilities, right? Well, now it's just attack speed. Like, I kind of just did it right there, actually. But now, since it's just attack speed, if anything, you actually want to use it... Oh, what the... You actually want to use it after your abilities. Dude, does he have... See, like, I feel like he's got, like, some insane cooldown reduction, man. What was that? Oh, no. We're nervous now. Oh, no. I'm also, like, trying to explain things. There's so many things I wanted to talk about. So many things to talk about when you're playing Ullr, man. No. And I don't just mean because of the character. I just mean more like there's a lot of, like, backstory of me talking about how much I suck at this character. And all the greats that came before me and after me. Oh, no. And also he had changes to him as well. We kind of like robbed him a little bit there, but we hit him around the corner. Okay, this guy's actually, maybe this won't be a 5-minute F6. I mean, obviously it's not a 5-minute F6, but maybe it won't be like an F6. This guy's actually not bad. I think it is a Smurf account. And no way this guy's just level like whatever that was and is playing like even semi-competently. Not a chance, right? No way. I mean, either way, I mean, I don't know. I'm not a future teller, right? So I don't know. But either way, I would imagine that even if this is like a real game, I'll probably make it a two-parter because I want to show you guys an Ullr mirror. Now, whether I go against a competent Ullr or not, we'll see. You know, whether I win or lose, we'll see. But gonna go against, or probably gonna try to get an Ullr mirror on the books for you guys. He did end up getting the red buff. Oh, also another thing I wanted to mention about changes is they actually removed the CDR from Transcendence and removed the cooldown reduction from Power Pot a little while ago. That's a little bit older news, but it did happen. And so that's why you may notice I'm going Fail Not. And you may say, Jesse, why are you doing that? Is that the new meta build? Dude, I don't know. Like, I don't... I'm just trying stuff out, man. Like, against a magical, you can't get a breastplate, right? Which is 20% cooldown. You can only get this Genji's that's 10%. So you gotta fill 30%. I mean, you don't have to, but you would love to have full cooldown on Ullr, right? So you gotta fill 30% cooldown with that Genji's. So there's a couple ways to do that. You know, Jotuns, of course, Hydras, of course, and then you got a popular item in other game modes, such as Conquest, Slash, etc., that people love to go on Ullr, which is Fail Not. And I'm just here to try it out in Duel, because why not? Especially against a mage, where like getting random like big crits can be really, really beneficial. So this is 20% cooldown, 10% pen, crits. So I'm going to have 40% cooldown with my Hydra's Fail Not Genjis is my idea. I think that's better than Jotuns. Maybe I'm wrong, I don't know. But I do, look at that crit. Look at that, He's Sheldoned. No way, bro. I was thinking about jump blinking, but I don't know. I'm too much of a wussy, what can I say? I'm too much of a wuss, man. Be right back. I think I'm gonna back, and I'm going to get this, and this, and this. I want the proximity ward. Hopefully I remember to use it, because I forget it all the time. Hopefully I remember to use it and slow him with it, because that could be the difference whether I kill him or not. One thing about the Fail Not I will mention is I don't really keep track of it that much, and when you switch stances, you might waste the proc a little bit. First of all, you could just keep track of it better than I do. There's that. And then there's also the... Oh, look at that crit, dude. I could beats that, but I don't know if it's worth beating it just for the rock, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. But then again, it's also pressure on this bull demon, or this red buff, so I don't know. Okay, never mind. Turns out I just got it regardless. Oh, that's his 1 and his 3 down. Perfectly timed auto attack on the Aegis. It's just that easy, ladies and gentlemen. As you guys can see, though, the crits are amazing. And again, I don't use the Fail Not passive that well, but I'm still going to mention it. This item has 20% crit, right? Right? Well, when you hit them with the passive, which essentially just means that you switch stances and then attack them with your auto attacks and whatnot, right? That's all you have to do to proc the passive. Like right now, for example, if I switch stances, my passive on the Fail Not went off, right? If I auto attack him, then I apply the passive to him. I think it's just autos. I don't know if it's abilities. Here, I'll check. I will double check that in just a moment here. Let's see. Wait, where was I? What was I doing? Okay. Your next ability or basic attack. Nope, you just need to attack them. It doesn't matter if it's an ability or an auto attack. Your next ability or auto attack applies the mark to them, which used to actually do more, but they nerfed it. They used to make them do less damage, but it actually just applies 20% crit to them, basically. So this item, if used correctly, like especially in like a late game fight, or like you're camping a corner or something. Ooh. Yeah, as you can see, critically striking people is pretty nice. Now, I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I couldn't have won that fight without crit. You know what I mean? Like, if I had Jotuns, I could still probably kill that guy. But the crits are surprising and nice, especially when you pair it with a Hydras. A red buff, it's actually amazing. So, but like, what I was trying to get at, I don't know if I mentioned it or not. Like, I don't know if I actually said the official thing, but it's 20%, and then the passive is 20%. So this item in itself has up to 40% crit in the right situation, plus power, plus cooldown, plus pen. I think it's got to be good. As far as going against a physical god, like in the Ullr mirror, should you be building this? Should you not? If you are, what do you replace Do you replace Jotuns? Do you replace Hydras? I don't know. I'm kind of just testing stuff out right now. But I think personally, my first take here, you know, I haven't done many Ullr mirrors recently. I've only done like one. But I think Fail Not is definitely in the build. I think it's very, very strong. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Do some testing of your own and let me know in the comments what you guys think. And also, again, don't forget, let me know if you guys want to see me try to do an Ullr mirror versus Anime Lover, because he is like a competent player. I don't know if I do. Like, if I do decide to do that, I think it'll be spread out a bit. I don't think I'll do it super soon because I'm already posting an Ullr video today, right? So maybe I'll do it in like a month or something. I don't know. We'll see. But I appreciate you guys watching the video, and I will go ahead and skip you guys into hopefully what's another Ullr mirror. Like, I'm basically just going to keep queuing, passing my bans, and hopefully go against another Ullr. And hopefully they're competent, because let's be real, I'm not going to get Ullr through that often. And I'm not going to have an Ullr mirror that often. Like, sometimes people don't play Ullr when he's open. Like, this guy chose not to, right? So I'm just going to go with the first Ullr the game gives me and hope for the best. And hopefully I win. But, you know, whatever. Appreciate you guys watching. I'll skip you guys into it. Thank you so much. All right, guys, we're off to the next game. I think I've played like 3 games in between this. Maybe 4? I don't know. I think I played like 1 Hou game, which I was recording. Spoiler alert, tomorrow's video will be Hou. I don't know if I should have said that or not, but we already did. Oh well, goes how it goes. Tomorrow will be Hou. I also want to do an on her recording for you guys, but I don't think I want to post 3 like really good ADCs back to back to back. So the on her will be a little bit. Speaking of on her, we're against one right now. This is not an Ullr, but like, hold on, let me buy my stuff, man, before I yap too much. This is not an Ullr. I really wanted to get an Ullr mirror, and I'm still gonna try because I'm still like I just told you guys, I'm recording Hou, right? So I'm not done recording after this game. And if Ullr's open, I'll probably play him, right? Trying to get an Ullr mirror for you guys. But oh my god, 4 health potions. This guy's a killer, dude. Okay, what was I saying? I feel like I need to finish my thought before we go too crazy. This is not an Ullr mirror, which sucks, and I'm still going to try to get an Ullr mirror for you guys. But if I can't, I think this will suffice. I mean, we're against a pretty aggressive player. Maybe it's a Smurf, dude. Maybe everybody's a Smurf. Everybody's a Smurf until proven otherwise. If you don't know what a Smurf is, by the way, because I know there are a couple people who probably don't know. It just means alternate account, not their main account, their second account, if you will. Their anonymous identity. But anyways, what I'm trying to get at here is, on her is a very top tier hunter at the end of the day. What? I guess he thought I was gonna axe him, but like, I mean, maybe I should have axed him, to be honest, but I don't really see the point. Like, it's not really that big of a deal. I'm trying to just jump out, conserve some mana and whatnot. Is he going to be around this corner? Looks like he's just completely backing off and going to blue. I think he was getting low on mana, would be my assumption, because he was spamming abilities from the get-go, and he had 4 HP pots. Now, Griffin Wing does have some decent MP5 on it, but not enough to spam super, super hard, right, with no potions at all. So I would assume he was getting a little bit low on mana and just backed off, would be my assumption. But I don't know. He could jump over this wall and, like, catch me out over here. I would assume he backed. Making a lot of assumptions here. But, anyways. Hopefully this is a good game, though. This guy seems relatively confident so far. I mean, he did kind of throw his early game a little bit by just being a little bit too aggressive, but hey, man, I'd rather people be too aggressive. And, like, especially because he didn't die, right? Like, I didn't attack him. I'd rather people be too aggressive than not aggressive at all, right? So, but, you know, you guys can probably look at the video duration, unless this is, like, literally a 5-minute surrender or something like that, which I don't think it will be. Unless it's a 5-minute F6, you guys can probably tell whether this is, whether I'm going to get you guys an Ullr mirror or not. But like I said, I'll keep trying after this, but even if I don't get the mirror, I think this is a good game because we're against a high tier hunter. See how this goes. Ooh. Nice. Also, as far as this matchup goes, I think most competent duelers understand these days that Ullr beats on her. He does, by the way. That's not even a question in my heart. On her has a bit of potential in the early game, especially, and he has some outplay potential too. Like, you can block the axe with your 1 and stuff like that. It's not like on her can't beat an Ullr, but he shouldn't. At the end of the day, he shouldn't. Ullr is he just has more going for him at the end of the day. But with that being said, some people out there some people still argue to this day that Ullr beats Ullr. So I think this is a pretty good matchup because it's a competitive matchup at the end of the day, even if Ullr does win. And also there are some people that still to this day believe that Ullr wins, and he just doesn't, guys. Again, if you're a really good Ullr player and you beat all these like bad Ullr players, then good for you, man. Like, more power to you. But that doesn't mean Ullr beats Ullr. That just means you're a better player than they are. And congratulations, man. Like, I'm proud of you, but that doesn't make it true, right? But enough yapping about matchups and blah 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 and videos. I'm just gonna play this out like I should. Ooh. Dude, his reaction time's pretty decent, man. It's like, don't get me wrong, it's nothing like superhuman or anything, but like for duel players, like I think you and I, YouTube audience, I think we have established the fact that these duel players kind of suck, you know what I mean? A good chunk of them suck. I say as I miss like every ability. I'm actually proving my point if you think about it by sucking. Oh, he has no mana, poor guy, and I have the scepter, and he beads too early. There's no point for me to throw the axe immediately. Because even if I wasn't trying to bait his beads, because I wasn't, by the way, I had no intentions of baiting beads. But what I was trying to do there was just make him juke himself to death, basically. I think no matter what, I would get the kill, but what's one trick on Ullr? Not really a trick, it's just don't rush, man. Like, don't get me wrong, doing fast plays is really flashy and cool. You know what I mean? If you're going for a montage, I guess go for it. But there are a lot of opportunities you'll have with Ullr where, first of all, barrel stuffing your axe to make it easier on yourself. That's kind of nice. But more specifically, not axing right away because you're less predictable. A lot of times, Ullrs just switch stances and immediately axe. And if you're landing them, more power to you. But if you're not landing it, like, you're making yourself very predictable, I would say. Whereas you can just hold the axe, and a lot of the times they'll just sit there and try to juke you, and you can just sit there and hit them while they're juking you, you know what I mean? Like, that's why I say juke themselves to death, because they're essentially letting you hit them while they're just moving back and forth kind of thing. It's pretty hard to choke those autos, because at the end of the day, I did have him horrific. I don't know if the horrific was still on him at the very end of that fight or not, but either way, he was juking a bit, and he was horrific. Pretty easy early game, I would say. Which, don't get me wrong, if Ullr does stand a chance in this matchup, it's definitely in the early game, for sure. But, with that being said, I don't think this guy really knows how to play the early game. He's just playing way too aggressive, which, again, props to him, man. You know, like, at the end of the day, props to this guy. Dude, do I want to go fail knots? Yeah, I do. Fail not with no hydras seems troll, though. Maybe, what if the play was just to go, like, Mantle of Discord for 10% pin? No, dude, okay, that's just too crazy. What if the play is actually, this one's, like, way less crazy. What if the play versus a physical god is actually just to overcap your CDR and say, who cares, man? Just get the hydras and the fail knot and the breastplate. And if the game really does go hyper late, I mean, I would suggest you just buy a 3k pod, don't get me wrong. But if you didn't want to go that route, you can just sell your build and actually sell your breastplate for spirit robe or mantle. That's not like a unheard of thing. A lot of people do stuff like that in mirrors, or at least they used to in Ullr mirrors. So definitely an option. Definitely an option. I don't know what I'm gonna do this game. I think I'm probably leaning towards getting hydras and just overcapping my cooldown and not caring. I think that's where I'm leaning. We'll see. Yeah, he was actually kind of destroying me right there a little bit. And no, I wasn't egoing him, by the way. I was just trying my best to focus up and land my autos. I think I missed like one auto. Why did I stop my back, man? I thought this thing was going to be blinking, but it's not. Not yet. I'm going to get beads for the impale, slash the slow, slash the jump, you know, whatever I need it for at the time. Also, beads is really nice for the cooldown reset. Cooldown resets are great on Ullr. In general, we're going to speed ourselves up. Is he here for the red? He is. No. Alright. I was pretty confident we could win that, though, because we are far ahead. Don't get me wrong, he picked up the red, but we are far ahead. His jump is down, and I have a horrific, so No worries, we waited until the stun duration fell off of the axe to horrific him, as you should. Or you can use the horrific to land your axe, but obviously that's not optimal. That's just something you do if you feel like you need to, you know? Goes how it goes. Dude, I was really not like... Maybe I just gave this guy too much credit for jumping in early. Also, like, I assumed he was like maybe a Smurf account, so... And usually I assume the Smurf accounts are going to be pretty decent. Which not to say he's not decent, it's just not decent enough to beat, you know, a top GM player on literally the best duel character in the entire game. So I mean, that's not to say he's not decent, but I did not expect this to be a stomp, man. He's kind of just letting me have my way with him, huh? Alright, so I'm gonna assume that he thought that he didn't realize I was gonna go for that axe, because there's just no way he just stood there like intentionally, right? Like, because if he was giving me the kill on purpose, he would have surrendered, right? Like, that's my thought process. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm just gonna overcap my cooldown. I don't care. My thought process though is if he really gave up and he doesn't care anymore, he would just surrender, right? Right? Like, I know that's not always the case, but you would assume. Oops, sorry, I moved my mic there and it squeaked. It squeaked like a little mouse. Hello. This is the surrender, right? He's kind of not surrendering, man. He's just allowing me. He just wants to die like 15 times. I don't know. I feel like this is exactly how my last Ullr recording went, which was like a long time ago, don't get me wrong, it's probably like a year ago or something. But I feel like I remember this exact moment where I was like, dude, I'm literally just stomping people, but like, and I know it's not the most competitive video, because I was just thinking about saying it just now. Okay. But what I was gonna get at is like, I'm just kind of stomping this guy, and I know what you guys are probably thinking, like it's not fun to watch stomps. I mean, some people like watching stomps, but the people who are here for competitive games, you know, it's not fun watching stomps. And it's like, bro, that's all Ullr games are, man. Like, I'd say the only outlier to stomping as Ullr is getting stomped by another Ullr, which is still Ullr stomping, and like it's still Ullr stomping. You know, one Ullr is just getting stomped, but like my point is I don't think I've ever seen an Ullr game that isn't kind of like this. Like, don't get me wrong, 8 kills at 10 minutes is kind of crazy, but like they always go like this, man. Like, they're always super heavy snowballing. Whether you're getting this many kills or not, one way or another, it's a stomp game. So what I'm getting at here is, just like I said in the first Ullr video that I made like forever ago, or maybe the second, I don't remember. What I'm getting at here is I think it's fine if this is a stomp, man. Like, I'm literally just showing you guys exactly how Ullr is. The only exception to that is a really intense Ullr mirror match, which is hard to get, man. Most people ban Ullr, and the few times that I've seen him, like the last 3 games I've had Ullr, one you guys didn't even see. The last 3 times that I've had Ullr, because one was on stream, it hasn't been a mirror match. Like, people are just forgetting to ban him, probably because he's been banned for a while, I would assume, and they're not opting to pick him. But I will end this game as soon as possible. Oh, now you surrender. Now the game is over. Well, technically he is right. The game actually was over there, so he just saved a little bit of time, but that was an interesting one. I don't know. Like I said earlier in this game / recording, whatever, I will try my best. I'm going to keep playing because I'm trying to get a Hoyi recording for Saturday, tomorrow, for you guys. Again, spoiler alert, I'm going to queue up again. But I will try to get another Ullr game. If Ullr is open, I will pick it, and if I get a mirror match, I'll show it to you guys. If I don't, then I appreciate you guys watching the video. You can probably look at the duration right now, and you can tell yourself, you can already find out whether there's an Ullr game or not. If the video goes on, then there you go, you got your Ullr game. If it doesn't, then I appreciate you guys watching the video. I appreciate you guys so much, and I'll see you guys in the next one, either the next game or the next video, depending on if I get this game or not. Until next time, guys, bye. Alright guys, we're on to the final game. I actually had to engineer an Ullr game, and by that I mean I went against my buddy here, Destroyer, on his ult account. As you can see, our little conversation. I don't understand him half the time. He be trolling. I don't know why he put this face. Maybe he wasn't being sincere when he said, I appreciate the Grandmasters Latin player. Thank you. But this is the same guy who beat my Achilles in a recent video with, he was Chiron. And he agreed. I just played on her versus Ho Yi, and I destroyed him, obviously. I mean, LOL, too easy. I mean, jokes aside, though, he did agree, because I told him I was like, I told him that he banned Ullr and I was sad about it or something, and then he said, well, you didn't tell me. And so I thought it'd be a good idea to ask him, like, hey, you want to do an Ullr mirror? You know, why not? Oh, wait. Okay, he didn't play Ullr. What the heck, man? Whatever, man. I don't even care, because to be honest, that means I'm gonna have an Ullr game versus a Ho Yi and an On Her, right? Which are two top hunters. And to be fair, in his defense, I did say in the beginning of it that he can play Ullr or Ho Yi or On Her. He can play anybody he wants to, for that matter. It doesn't really matter. It wasn't until the very end of the conversation, which it was on his other account, so you guys didn't get to see it, but it wasn't until the very end of the conversation where I asked him, I was like, actually, would you like to just do an Ullr mirror? Because that's what I'm looking for, right? And he was like, yeah, sure, I'll play Ullr. And then I guess he changed his mind. I don't know. Yeah, you know what? I'll message him about it. Why not? Why not? JLB Destroyer. That's not Ullr. But either way, honestly, it's fine. He is a GM player. The only thing is he does lag. And so honestly, that might be the reason why he didn't want to play Ullr, is because he does have high ping. He I think he said he's Peruvian, I think, is what he said. So yeah, he does lag. He said, yeah. But either way, this should be a more competitive game. Should be, I don't know. Ullr games are Ullr games at the end of the day, right? But this guy has beaten me before. He is a Masters / GM level player at the end of the day. Still's being good. It's fine. Yeah, it's fine. No worries. No worries. Because I think his favorite hunter, because he literally messaged me. He was like, Sensei. He calls me Sensei. He was like, Sensei, Ho Yi's back. He was so excited that Ho Yi's back, and he played Ho Yi last game, so I think it is his best hunter, so I'm definitely not disappointed in the matchup. I was more or less just surprised, honestly, because he said he would play Ullr. So I was just kind of shocked that he didn't. But it's all good, no worries. And I kind of baited you guys, made you guys think that it was going to be an Ullr mirror. But I mean, to be fair, I got baited too. You know, it's not all my fault. I got baited. I'll let him auto me, actually. Jumping in. Wait, he jumped in too. I don't think I win this auto trade, actually. Wait, he missed his stun off of a horrific. No way. Alright, I'm choking. Bro, I'm choking. He choked, I choked. We're all just chokers, man. Is he gonna ult me? Huh. I don't really like the idea of standing in the jungle against a Ho Yi, because he can bounce me against this wall right here. I kind of want him to I want him to try that, you know? Yeah. The reason why I was making noise there is because, don't get me wrong, the noise empowers you, right? But I was very confident I was gonna land that. Those hacks are incredible. Thanks, man. Destroyer is a goofy guy. He is a goofy guy. I felt pretty good about last game though, beating up his Ho Yi with On Her, because like I said, I've actually lost to this guy a couple times. And usually it's, you know, I'm not trying to say he's not a good player, but usually it's a hunter diff moment. Like if you guys watched the Achilles video, you know what I'm talking about. You saw it. Kind of just a hunter diff moment, and I was happy because I was like, yeah, now who's got the hunter? I mean, he's still got the hunter, but I'm also a hunter, so I'm not getting hunter diffed, bro. Like any game where I'm a hunter, I'm not losing, bro. Not against Destroyer. No way, Jose. Ooh. What if I say that and then I lose this game? Wouldn't that be crazy? I am kind of missing some autos here. He's getting low on mana sauce. He might ult here. Got my 2 a little bit later than I probably should have. I probably should have got my 2 sooner, but no big deal. Bro's just ulting Casper the Friendly Ghost. I don't know what to say about that one. He didn't really have any follow-up for it. He just kind of horrific. But like horrific doesn't really do that much when I can just jump out. But it was funny though when I asked him, I was like, "You want to queue up and play Hou versus my Ullr or something like that?" Like initially, the initial question, he was like, "Yeah, man, for the homies." So appreciate Destroyer for doing it. 'Cause I don't think he thought he was gonna win, to be fair. But he's just doing it for the homies, apparently. Dude, is my scepter trying to shoot the? No, it's not. Oh, that's the noise. Oh my god. I was flipping out because there was a noise when I was playing Hou earlier, which you guys will see in tomorrow's video. There was a noise that I was hearing and I didn't know what it was. It's the Hou mark in the tier 5 skin. That's actually super annoying. I don't like that at all. I don't like it. And of course he marks me immediately after saying that, like I'm just permanently having this mark on me. I don't like sitting in the jungle like this against a Hou, man. It's just a bad idea. I have such low mana though. He jumped in on me, I got the horrific off. Although I will be honest, like the horrific kind of didn't make a difference at all. That was more or less just one of those situations where it's like, why wouldn't I use my horrific, you know? Just to make sure I don't miss my 1. Reduce his damage by a little bit. Call it a day. Be right back. That should work. Did we just go up freaking power pot? Nah. We'll go a power pot after 3rd item probably, if I can remember. My scepter's hitting him through the wall. Alright, we're starting to get our groove on. I mean, Ullr and I are both getting it on. What I mean by that... Well, that sounded weird. What I mean by that is like, once Ullr starts to get cooldown online, of course, he feels a lot better. I have the breastplate and I have the blue buff, totaling at a 30% cooldown, but also I'm just landing my abilities better, right? We're playing more confidently. We're playing in command. I wonder if he switched accounts from his Smurf to his main to like get his name in the video, or if he just wanted to use that tier 5 skin. Alright, we hit him with that, which is nice. We hit him with that, which is nice. Beautiful. Looking good, feeling good, baby. Popping our 2 because it's an attack speed steroid now, so it helps us get this rock. Alright, so do we want to get rid of our claw shard thingy? Replace it do we want to go crits? That's another thing. It's like versus a Hou, do we want to go crit? He has a crit passive, right? I'm gonna say probably not. We'll just get the Hydras online because, you know, I'm not even sure if the Fail Not is 100% like the play to begin with, right? Especially when you're against a person who has a crit passive. And granted, you can still crit him. You just can't crit him like multiple times in a row very quickly, but I don't know. Considering it's a questionable play anyways, I'm just gonna go with the standard Hydras. Hydras element. Alright, we're getting points into our 2 is big because we're getting real fast. Our movement speed's ticking up. Because as you can see, the movement speed scales up on it as well as the attack speed. Alright, so surely he knows I'm here, right? And he's going to come contest? Question mark? Where's he at?
Enemy missing. Enemy spotted.
Massive lag spike there, guys. Seriously, massive lag spike. Don't know what happened. No way to know for sure what just happened there.
Run from me.
You know, every time I do stuff like that and I don't confirm that it's a joke, I'm always wondering in the back of my head if there's at least one viewer who's like, why is he saying he's lagging? He's very, like, that very obviously wasn't lag. Like, why would he try to lie about that? I know there's just got to be at least one viewer who thinks I'm being serious.
Try this on for size. Try this on for size. Changing pace.
All right, we're back in. He has a power pot, I think, which reminds me that I said I was going to go a power pot at this stage of the game. So I think that's what I'm going to do. We're going to go this, we're going to go this, and we're jumping out the base. We're going into a dominance here, I believe. I think dominance is very, very strong if you don't need anti-heal, especially. Like, 4th item brawlers is probably really good. But, I mean, if you don't need anti-heal, then 4th item brawlers is not as good, right? So I think we're going to pressure for this red buff here, and then we're going to go to Bull Demon. We can't even pick up the red buff, though. Maybe we just bait the red for Bull Demon. Is that worth it? I'm just going to put a proximity ward down. Let's just test the waters a bit, see what happens, you know? Alright, either he just wants no part of fighting us, or he thinks we're at red and he wants to contest red, or nothing, never mind. Wait, he jumped into my proximity ward. But I kinda got stunned and owned a little bit, so... We're getting a tad bit owned here. Alright, maybe that was a little bit greedy, but I thought we could style on him at the end and just melee axe him down. And it got a little closer than I would have liked, but it goes how it goes. We didn't have red buff advantage there, and our red pot advantage wasn't even there either because he also had a red pot. So let's see, how much of an advantage do we realistically have? We had probably like 1 or 2 levels. I don't remember. Now we have 3, but how many I had at that time? It's probably 1 or 2 levels up, and I had a tier 2 over his tier 1. That was about it, really. Didn't really have that much of an advantage, and I was kind of playing like I did, so I played it really poorly in the beginning of that fight, but we ended up closing it out near the end. I think he started missing stuff too, which, you know, whatever, it happens. He is on ping, so... Be right back. Alright, we're gonna back by this, and we're probably gonna go straight into a Heartseeker. Honestly, maybe Crusher is better because it does give attack speed, but I don't know, Heartseeker procs are just so good, man. They're just so good, you know? Like, it's hard to say no to a Heartseeker proc. See here for my blue, it looked like he was like positioning for it, but apparently not. Apparently not. Also, I got a ton of Hydra's value there. Yeah, I don't know if you guys noticed, but I was getting a lot of Hydra's procs on him in between. Because I don't think I can just straight up outbox him. I have to, like, you know, weave abilities, of course. I'm going to wait for this crow to almost fall off, I think, and then I'm going to go in. A little bit greedy, but... Oof. I think the aim was fine, but there was a minion in the way. Ooh, Chester advantage is pretty big. That helps us pressure. I'm surprised he hit that, man. That was like max range. Oops, I didn't mean to bring up that screen. think we both horrific there. I could be wrong. Maybe that slow was just from his ult alone and he didn't horrific, maybe. Perhapsington. I did just use a decent amount of abilities on the Titan, not him. Oof. Okay, I definitely could have ended there, slash killed him. Definitely some misplays. Definitely some misplays, but it's okay. We didn't die or anything. I think we're doing okay.
Coming for you. Try this on for size. Run from me.
Hooking him down a little bit. That's his Aussie proc. Oh, he's gonna get his Phoenix up, actually. That's like not very good. A little bit of questionable poke on his part, I'll say. We're gonna get another proximity ward because I think it's really, really good. We need to, hopefully, either he needs to die from getting this red buff, like because he's out of position, or we need to stop him from getting this red. One of those two things need to happen. Okay, he recognizes his situation. He backed up a little bit. I actually don't want to finish clearing that because I don't want the fire minions to move up just yet. But I bought another red pot because mine was going away, and we have this fire minion wave plus. We have Heartseeker and a red buff. Like we have a big advantage. We wanna use it. Yeah, that's Phoenix for sure. Dude, what is that noise, man? I don't understand. That's the noise that was making me freak out in the Hou video. What is that? Now he has a choice to make. I mean, fight or die, right? Fight or his Titan dies, I mean. I'm horrificing him and I'm proximity warding. He can't move. GG. Interesting one. Interesting one. I already think this is going to be like a super long video. GG. I already think this is going to be like a super long video, probably like approaching an hour already, if not at the hour mark. So I'm not going to talk super in depth with the build at the end, because honestly, also another thing about the build is there's not that many different things. You know what I mean? I already said GG to him. There's not that many different things. The only thing I'll say about Ullr that has changed over the years, like drastically, is like whether you're in a mirror or whether you need anti-heal and stuff like that. But it's mainly just fail not. Like that's pretty much the only thing that's really changed. So I'm gonna go ahead and put. Whoops, I didn't mean to do that. Transcendence, you go at pretty much every single item, first item. You go straight into, you can go like an Aussie or something second if you want to snowball. You'll get a lot of healing, but most people don't opt to do that. Most people just go straight into the breastplate. If you're against a magical, you go straight into the Genjis, right? And then after that, you have your choices, right? I think when you're a physical character, or when you're against a physical character, rather, sorry, I had to mute there for a second. You can go many different things. You could go straight into a Jotuns and then go straight into your normal build, like, you know, your Brawlers, your Crusher, your Heartseeker, your Dominance if you want that. But I don't know. I think Hydra's is probably one of Ullr's best items, especially if you go crit. But regardless of whether you go crit or not, I think Hydra's is just so good. So you probably just do this, honestly. But I'm just letting you guys know that this is definitely an option. You can just overcap your cooldown. This is probably fine. In fact, maybe this is better. Like, I think I would opt to overcap my cooldown and get the fail not over anything else most of the time. It just depends though. Like, I don't know, like in the mirror, little things like this matter a lot. So in specifically in the mirror match, I'm not entirely sure. But again, if you're not convinced, not as convinced as I am with the physical versus physical fail not, or in the mirror match, then just go your trusty old, I'm going to leave the fail not here, but go your trusty old Hydras. And then after that point, it becomes really simple. If you need anti-heal because they have lifesteal or they're a healing character, you go into your Brawlers. If you don't need that, then you go into your Dominance. I think it's very, very solid. I think it's your best fourth spike. Gives you a decent amount of attack speed. Scales with your Transcendence because it has mana and stuff like that. The Dominance autos go really hard with your Hydras. He's not an auto attack hunter, but he does get a lot of autos off in the fight. And you want to get those autos off anyways because you have Hydras, right? So these items just go hand in hand. very, very strong together. And by this point, if you still don't need anti-heal, I think you just go straight into the Heartseeker. It's just stronger than Crusher, I think. But if you're one of those people that really, really values the attack speed from Crusher, then go for it, man. Get yourself a Crusher. And then last item, but I would say most of the time this would be what I would build personally. I would say this, or wait, oops. I would say last item, Titan's Bane. If I were not going Fail Not and I were going a build like this, I'd probably go last item, Titan's Bane. Let me double check real quick. Okay, so 10% pen off Hydras, 10% pen off Heartseeker, 20% pen off Titan's Bane, and even more pen on your auto attacks with Dominance. I think this is the preferred build. Obviously, if you need anti-heal, then you have to throw in a Brawlers here somewhere. What would you sub it out for? I'd say it's either Titan's Bane or the Dominance. Take your pick, whichever one you think is better. If you're not getting that many auto attacks off, say like in a mirror match, for example, maybe you're not autoing as much. Maybe you are, maybe you aren't. That's when you'd probably prioritize going like the Brawlers instead of the Dominance, for example. And then, and like another thing is if you're not getting that many autos off, you would prioritize the Titan's Bane over the Dominance, was kind of my point. But these, I think these are all pretty much all of the viable items on Ullr, with the exception of this. If you want the Crusher, like say you need anti-heal, right? So you go, wait, take this off. You need anti-heal, so you go 4th item this, then you go into the Crusher, and or the Heartseeker into the Crusher. This is a viable build as well. I'm just telling you guys what I prefer to do, and I mean, Fail Not is definitely something I prefer to do right now, but I'm just giving you guys pretty much all the options. I don't really think there's any items you should be building outside of these. It's kind of personal preference. In a situation like a mirror match, it is kind of like your build matters a lot in the mirror match. So I can't tell you guys for a matter of fact which one is the best in a mirror match. I don't know, but I can tell you what I think is the best and what I would build. In the mirror match, I would probably just go with this. Yeah, this is probably what I would do in the mirror match. And if you're against a magical, that's when I think the Fail Not's actually a lot stronger. So like take this off. When you're against a magical, this is when you only have 10% CDR on with your Genjis. So I would go boom, Fail Not pretty much every single time. If I was against a magical as Ullr, I would always go Fail Not. At least as of right now, I think it's just way too strong. And then you go into your, so this is 10% cooldown, 20% cooldown, 10% cooldown, you're capped. And at this point, you can just build whatever you want. Once again, me personally, I'm always going that Dominance, unless I need anti-heal. I would go anti-heal, then Dominance. Probably, yeah. Because especially, like, don't get me wrong, I love Heartseeker Ullr. Heartseeker Ullr is amazing. But when you're against a magical, you're looking for burst, and Heartseeker is burst. It definitely is. It's ability burst. But another option, another way to go about it, because you can go, if you don't want to go the crit and you don't want to go the Dominance, then get yourself that Titan's Bane Heartseeker and you'll do just fine, right? But me personally, I would rather just get some RNG crits with a Hydras proc and a Dominance passive added onto it. Boom. Melting them every time. But if you don't want to do that, obviously, build whatever you want. At the end of the day, there's multiple ways to play the game. The most strict builds, I would say, would be the mirror match. Haven't perfected that. Don't know. Not the best Ullr player in the world, but I hope you guys did appreciate watching the video. I've been recording today for like 4 hours or something. I'm not going to show you guys my history because it would spoil the Hou-Yi video for tomorrow that I was also recording, but hope you guys appreciate the time it took. And I'm sorry that we didn't get any like super competitive games. I tried my best, guys. I've been playing for a while today. I probably played like 10-15 games today. I hope you guys did enjoy, and I'll see you guys in the next video tomorrow. Goodbye.